Israel is one of the most powerful countries in the world, and the most mind-blowing thing about this country is that in the last 75 years, Israel has fought multiple wars for its survival. At one point, 5 countries attacked Israel at the same time. Terrorist groups attacked Israel from different sides. Many powerful nations boycotted the country. And despite all this, Israel was a tiny nation with neither a massive army like China nor a huge workforce like India. Geographically, Israel had no vast oil reserves like Saudi Arabia and very few natural resources. In fact, when Israel became independent in 1948, the country was facing a severe water shortage. At that time, if someone had looked at Israel, they would probably have said that simply surviving as a nation would already be a huge achievement. But despite all these challenges, Israel transformed itself into one of the world's most powerful countries. Today, major nations like India, the United States, and China rely on Israeli technology in different sectors. Israel exports weapons and military technology across the world, and today, it is considered one of the most influential and technologically advanced nations on Earth. So the question is, without oil, without abundant natural resources, without a huge population, and while constantly facing war, how did a small country like Israel become so powerful? What strategies did Israel use to turn itself into a startup nation while fighting for survival? This story begins on May 14, 1948. The day Israel became independent, and the very next day, not one, not two, but 5 different countries attacked Israel at the same time. Those countries were Egypt, Syria, Jordan, Iraq, and Lebanon.
Ladies and gentlemen, far from being lambs led to the slaughter, Israel's soldiers have fought back with incredible courage and with heroic sacrifice. And I have another message for the world outside this hall. We are winning!
But Israel's rise did not happen overnight, because after surviving wars, after surviving invasions, Israel now had to fight a completely different battle, an economic battle. Israel is a country of paradox. A paradox means a contradiction, something that goes against common sense. And according to common sense, Israel should have been a very poor country. But why? There were 3 major reasons. Number 1, Israel was surrounded by enemies. On almost every side, it faced countries that did not want Israel to exist as a neighbor. Number 2, Israel was constantly involved in wars, and wars are extremely expensive. Wars destroy stability, wars scare investors, and wars slow down economic growth. And number 3, Israel lacked natural resources. Much of the region was desert. The country had very little agricultural land, and unlike many of its Arab neighbors, Israel had no massive oil reserves. So, logically, Israel should have struggled just to survive, but instead, it became rich, powerful, and technologically advanced. So the question is, how? What changed? The answer is surprising, because Israel defeated its biggest enemy. And that enemy was not Egypt, not Syria, not Jordan. Its biggest enemy was inflation. Let's rewind a little. From the creation of Israel in 1948 all the way to the early 1980s, the country's economy remained under constant pressure. Wars demanded enormous military spending. The government spent heavily to defend the country. And over time, the economy started becoming unstable. Then came 1984. Israel was hit by a severe economic crisis. The country was trapped in hyperinflation. Do you know how high inflation had reached? 445%. Prices were rising so fast that people were slowly losing confidence in their own currency. Imagine waking up and discovering that basic products had become more expensive almost overnight. Savings were losing value. Businesses were struggling to plan for the future. And the economy was becoming chaotic. That was when Prime Minister Shimon Peres and Israel's finance leaders introduced a dramatic economic stabilization plan in 1985. The government froze the prices of essential goods for 3 months. Businesses were not allowed to suddenly increase prices. At the same time, the government imposed strict financial discipline on itself. They promised to stop printing excessive amounts of money. Government spending was reduced. Food subsidies were cut because they had become too expensive to maintain. The reforms were painful, but the results were extraordinary. Within just 1 year, inflation collapsed from 445% to around 20%. Suddenly, Israel had something it had not enjoyed for a long time: economic stability. And once the economic chaos was brought under control, the country could finally focus on the future. Instead of wasting money fighting inflation, Israel began investing heavily in research and development, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and that decision would completely transform the future of Israel. Israel invests 6% of its GDP in research and development. This is the highest number in the world. This is the first secret of Israel's success. Israel's talent is that all its actions are taken on war footing. Every problem is seen as a do-or-die situation. In this small country, which is population half of New York, has 95 unicorns. The reason for this is IDF means Israeli Defense Forces. After the age of 18, everyone has to take mandatory military training. Here, they teach an important thing, which is problem solving. Like in the Army, Navy, and Air Force, split-second decisions are taken. Negotiations have to be made with a sharp mind. And most importantly, a calm mind is required. The same qualities are required in a startup as well. And these qualities Israel gives to its youth through military training. 40% cybersecurity, antivirus, and data protection services are sold by Israeli companies. Similarly, this country is considered an innovator in areas like semiconductor and AI. 4% of Israel's GDP comes from foreign direct investment. Investors are invited by the government. They are given tax breaks and incentives. So, Israel is an expert in importing money from abroad. This is Israel's second secret. Today, Israel's GDP comes from 1.1% agriculture, 17.3% manufacturing, and 81.6% services. 40% of Israel's GDP comes from exports. These include cut and uncut diamonds, electric machinery, medical equipment, and fertilizers. Israel has free trade agreements with America and Europe, because of which Israel helps in trade. The third secret is religious tourism. There is a conflict in Israel because of religion, but because of religion, their economy also works, because for Jews, Muslims, and Christians, Israel and especially Jerusalem is a holy place. So, every year, 40 lakh tourists come to Israel from all over the world. Israel's population is around 90 lakhs. That means Israel hosts half of its population every year. Another big secret of Israel's wealth is America. Did you know that America has given Israel $300 billion in aid so far? They get $4 billion every year. The population of this small country is only 0.01% of the world. Plus, their per capita GDP is $54,900. By any definition, Israel is not poor, but still, it is the world's largest recipient of US aid. This includes economic aid as well as military aid. Whether the President of America is a Republican or a Democrat, supporting Israel remains permanent. Instead of this support, if America wants to eliminate a target in the Middle East, strike a drone, or show its strength, then Israel can do this on their behalf. This support brings stability to Israel, it brings confidence to investors, and that is why, whether there is a war in Israel or not, Israel's companies never feel the lack of funding. And because of these reasons, despite being busy in the war for the past year, Israel's economy is growing, because it makes its best of the best technology for itself, but it also sells some technology to the world, and the money that comes to the country, it invested again in research and development. So the story of Israel proves that a country does not become powerful only because of oil, land, or natural resources. Despite constant wars, security threats, and geographical disadvantages, Israel transformed itself through education, technology, innovation, and research. By investing heavily in science and problem solving, the country built one of the world's strongest technology-driven economies. Israel's journey shows that in the modern world, human intelligence, innovation, and the ability to adapt can sometimes become more powerful than natural wealth itself. And this is the story of Israel. If you enjoyed this documentary and learned something new, then don't forget to like the video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel for more powerful documentaries